So previously I did a video and I was talking about how well Xbox Series X and S is doing according to Microsoft and things like that. In between that time, there's been other articles that have sort of come out pointing to, the different aspects of the numbers that we're seeing and things like that. And, I think that it was definitely bears weight to talk specifically about that because as gamers, I feel like a lot of us, we don't want to talk about things like sales, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's really important to do that. I feel like as fans, we should talk about sales because I do feel like it's important, and I might feel like it's important for a different reason than you. I've been well on record as saying, I want these consoles to do well so that we get more consoles, right? It's not like a fanboy thing. It's more of I like gaming consoles and I want to see them thrive and survive a long, long time. And the better they do, the better chance we have of that happening, which is exactly what we're starting to see now. And that is a very critical line of thinking when it comes to video game consoles. Now, we've got some confirmation and we've got a source for the confirmation, and it looks like we're having a much better go at it this time around than previously. Now, what's going to happen when, and according to Phil, like I said in my previous video, they haven't really had lack of supply. They've had as much as they've ever had, but the demand is higher. But what's going to happen when that demand can be met from both Sony and Microsoft? Because let's not pretend that demand just isn't being met for PlayStation or Xbox, but also PlayStation. I mean, obviously, who knows how many they could have sold. I would love to get a number from both Sony and Microsoft if we had no such thing as a situation where there was a chip shortage or a console shortage, right? I would just love to know how many could have actually sold. Could we have seen 25 million PS5 sold? Could we have seen 20 million Xboxes sold? I mean, it's not outside of the realm of possibility, but I do want to get into this because I feel like it is a very good topic and you guys are going to enjoy it. So, hey, let's go. Hey there, everyone. I'm the Crapgamer, and of course, this is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from giving us a like and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, which why wouldn't you? Thank you very much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me. It really does mean a lot. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Now, when it comes to what Microsoft is doing, and I already mentioned this, and I didn't want to see when I started doing this video before, I had mentioned about the Z huge numbers and things like that, but Forbes had actually put out another video or an article, about what Microsoft is doing, and I found this to be very interesting. Paul Tassi put this out. Of course, I'm going to link this. So this is what they had to say. It's been a record-breaking year, first year for the Xbox brand, as Microsoft's use of double SKUs has allowed shipments and sales of the Xbox Series X and S to thrive, even in the midst of supply shortages. Phil Spencer talked about Xbox sales this past year to the New York Times, which I already covered, where he said supply is as big as it's ever been. It's significant for a lot of reasons, but it's significant most of all because the same is not true for Sony and the PlayStation 5, where supply is not the biggest it's ever been, which is why the PS4 has outsold the PS5 in year one, purely based on supply constraints alone. But Xbox, using double SKUs of the Xbox Series X and S, has both set a supply and demand record, and demand is still exceeding supply for Series X especially. Now, if players can't find an X, they might turn to the somewhat easier to find Series S, which plays the same games for $200 less. And here's the interesting thing: even if Spencer isn't supplying numbers, analyst Daniel Ahmad, who goes by Z Huge, says that based on past Xbox One and Xbox 360 year one numbers, which were 12 million and 10.4 million respectively, that means Spencer is saying that Xbox Series X and S has shipped at least 12 million units, but how many above that is unclear. So a lot of people would ask, how do you know how many they would have shipped? Well, fortunately, we have Xbox One year one numbers and Xbox 360 year one numbers because they were common knowledge. So to be above that would be above the 12 million mark, which I think is very much a interesting case and an interesting thing that has, a lot of people kind of talking. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people should be talking about, because it just proves that, maybe Microsoft isn't as crazy, or, they're onto something when it comes to their own business. That and that's not a knock on Sony, because I think Sony could obviously, I feel like Sony has more fans and like a kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, I feel like that's something that obviously is going to happen. But clearly, when it comes to what Microsoft has been able to accomplish this generation so far, has been nothing short of a miraculous. So if we do look at that and we say at least 12 million or 12.1 or 12.5, whatever the number is, that's a wild number. And what's crazy is that's because Sony's even more intense supply shortages. These figures would put the Xbox Series X and S within striking distance of the PlayStation 5. The last numbers we heard from Sony, of course, was that they had did 13.4 million as of October 2021, which is below the 13.9 million the PS4s that were sold during the same period, and we don't have official numbers since then. But depending on supply, a few million more have likely been added. So if that's to say Xbox Series X was with at least 12 million, and PS5 could be at possibly 17 million. That's, a pretty good number. Like, people are saying 17, 18 million for PlayStation 5. We'll probably know sooner rather than later, but that's still much, much closer than we've ever seen something like this before. And, just as fans, I think we have to look at this and go, hey, that's really cool. I'm really cool. It's really awesome to see so many of these great consoles are selling. The PlayStation 5 is awesome. The Xbox Series X and S are both awesome. And to have these kind of competing the way that they are really is just kind of blows me away. And honestly, it's one of the things that I think everybody should be really excited about, because it means that the future of gaming is starting to solidify itself and starting to kind of come out there as something that's going to be around for a long, long time. Like, listen, the past few generations, I know we take it for granted, but there were various points where, we don't know if we're going to continue to see these types of consoles and stuff like that. And the reason why I say that is because it's a simple fact that, we haven't seen so many of these things in the past, where they're like, well, maybe we'll see some of these consoles, maybe we won't. And the reason why they say that is because obviously things are changing when it comes to like digital games and things like that. And not only are we seeing like digital games kind of being in flux, but we're seeing, just in general, a lot of games coming out that are realistically or things like that could be streamed, or however you want to look at it. So I think that while gaming is changing, the one thing that's not changing is the fact that, gamers in general want to see consoles and want to game on consoles, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome. The more people that do that, I feel like the better. But to see there to be actual competition between Sony and Microsoft, all the better as well. I think that's going to bode well for us as fans. That's going to bode well for us as gamers. We're going to get better deals, better games, more games, and that's where it all comes down to, and that's an awesome prospect if you think about it. It's an exciting thing to see everybody be able to kind of get their way, and everybody to kind of, have something to look forward to. It behooves us to want these companies to win. I get the whole console war aspect of it, because I think console wars can be fun, but yeah, it's great to see everybody kind of getting a piece of the pie. Let me know what you guys think. I will, of course, link this in the description below. You can check it out. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crapgamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.